The city of Seattle in late spring had a kind of magic to it, the air fresh from the rain, the streets glistening under the shy sun, and the scent of blooming flowers spilling over from gardens into sidewalks. In the heart of the city, tucked between a line of sleek glass towers, stood Harrison and Company, a boutique marketing agency, known for its bold campaigns and even bolder leader, Victoria Harrison. Victoria was 37, but the way she carried herself made time seem irrelevant. She had long, glossy dark hair that framed a sculpted face perfectly, sharp green eyes that could disarm even the most confident person, and a smile that made people feel both safe and slightly nervous. She was elegance and fire in one, the kind of woman who could walk into any room and instantly command it. On the other side of the age spectrum, Ethan Miller had just turned 18. Tall, broad-shouldered, with sandy blonde hair and eyes the color of a summer lake. He carried a mix of youthful energy and a certain quiet charm. Fresh out of high school, he had landed a part-time job at Harrison and Company through a family friend. He wasn't planning for it to be anything more than temporary, a way to make some money before starting college. But fate had other plans. Ethan's first day was nothing like he expected. The office buzzed with creativity, big monitors lit with colorful graphics, mood boards pinned to walls, and a faint hum of conversation. But the real shock came when Victoria herself walked in to greet him. He had expected an intimidating, distant boss. Instead, she offered a warm handshake and an easy smile. "Welcome to Harrison and Company, Ethan. I hear you're a quick learner," she said, her voice low and velvety. He swallowed, suddenly aware of how his heart was pounding. "I'll do my best." Her lips curved. "Call me Victoria." From that moment, he found it difficult not to notice her. The way she leaned over a table to examine a design. The way her perfume lingered in the hall after she passed. The sound of her laugh from behind her glass office door. She wasn't just beautiful. She was magnetic. Victoria, for her part, tried to ignore the spark she felt whenever Ethan was around. It was wrong, she told herself. He was barely starting his life, and she was his boss. But there was something about his earnest eyes, and the way he listened so intently that tugged at her in ways she hadn't felt in years. Weeks turned into months. Ethan proved himself to be more than just another assistant. He had a creative streak and a quick wit that made him a valuable part of the team. He stayed late when deadlines loomed, sometimes ordering takeout for the whole office. Often, he found himself alone with Victoria in the quiet after hours. One rainy Thursday evening, they were finalizing a presentation. The office was nearly dark except for the desk lamps. Ethan stood beside her, pointing out a few adjustments on the screen. She leaned closer, and he could smell her perfume, warm, floral, intoxicating. "You have a good eye for this," she said softly, her gaze flicking to his. Their eyes locked, and for a moment, the rest of the world vanished. Neither moved. But something shifted, a silent acknowledgement that this wasn't just a professional connection anymore. The following week, they were assigned to travel to San Francisco for a client pitch. The hotel rooms were on the same floor, separated by just a few doors. After the presentation, which went flawlessly, Victoria suggested they celebrate. They found themselves in a dimly lit rooftop bar. The city spread out beneath them, lights shimmering like stars. Ethan watched her laugh at one of his stories, the city lights catching in her hair. "You're different from anyone I've ever met," he admitted. Victoria tilted her head. "Is that a good thing?" "It's the best thing," he said quietly. Her breath caught, and for a long moment, she simply looked at him. "Ethan, we shouldn't." "I know," he interrupted gently, "but I don't care." The rain began to fall, light at first, then harder, blurring the city lights. They ran laughing back to the hotel, soaked through by the time they reached her door. She fumbled with the key card, and when it clicked open, she turned to thank him, but he was right there, close enough that she could feel the warmth of his breath. And then it happened, that first kiss. Hesitant at first, then deepening. Their soaked clothes forgotten. It was both reckless and inevitable. After that night, they were careful, at least in public. But behind closed doors, their connection grew. It wasn't just physical. They talked for hours about dreams, fears, the strange paths life takes. Victoria found herself confiding in him about her failed marriage and the loneliness that came with building a career at the expense of a personal life. Ethan told her about his uncertain future, the pressure from his parents to choose a safe career, and his desire to make something meaningful. One summer evening back in Seattle, they took a walk along the waterfront. The sun was setting, painting the water in shades of gold and pink. Ethan stopped, took her hand, and said, "I don't care about the age difference. I care about you." Victoria's eyes softened. "You're so young, Ethan. You have so much ahead of you." "Then let me choose who I spend it with." It wasn't easy. They faced whispers in the office when people started noticing their closeness. Victoria worried about his future, about how the world would judge them. Ethan worried about her stress, her tendency to retreat into work when things got complicated. But the more obstacles they faced, the more certain they became that what they had was worth fighting for. By the end of the year, they had stopped hiding. Ethan got accepted into a university in Seattle so he could stay close, and Victoria found a new balance between her work and personal life. They knew it wouldn't be perfect. Love never is. But they also knew that some connections are too rare to ignore. And on a crisp December night, standing under the Christmas lights at Pike Place Market, Ethan kissed her and whispered, "This is just the beginning."